what you want, what you want.
On Twitter, Mr. Liam, messaged me with one question. What happened to TWIM? Whew. That takes a second to answer. So TWIM stands for This Week in Minecraft. When Minecraft first came out, there were no podcasts about it at all. And it was slowly gaining popularity. But it wasn't like critical mass popularity. Like, it was more word of mouth advertising because it was still in the alpha stage. And right when it started getting ready for beta, I started playing on a server with a guy named Brad. Now, Brad lives in Arizona. I cannot remember Brad's last name, and it's going to kill me because whatever. One day, Brad was making a server, and he wanted to, it was called This Week in Minecraft. Brad needed help setting the server up. At the time, I was working in IT, of course, as I always am. And he asked me if I could help him with the server, because, you know, I knew all the Linux commands and all that whatnot, right? I became his server admin on the This Week in Minecraft server. After a month or two of us playing around on the server, and slowly people would join and play, he decided that he wanted to do a podcast, but he had no idea how to do it. Podcasts were just brand new back then. I mean, the podcast store was empty. We ended up making a show called This Week in Minecraft. It was an audio podcast, and the podcast, when we launched it on the Apple Store, immediately went to number 2 in the Apple Podcast for gaming. That's how little shows there were on the internet. There was one show that was above us. There was a Minecraft show, and I cannot remember what the name of the show was, but it was basically the very first guy who made a podcast about Minecraft was instantaneously number 1 on the Apple Store for gaming. And we were number 2 on the Apple Store in the gaming category, which was amazing. If you think about that now, literally if you clicked on gaming, we were second on the list. We had thousands of downloads every week. I can't even remember how we hosted the show, but it was a live show that we recorded every Friday night on I think the software was called Mumble. It was basically an offshoot of TeamSpeak. So basically we would have a chat room where everybody would join in for the live show, and then we would actually mute everybody, and then if we had guests on, we would just unmute them. And people could listen live, and at the same time we would record it. And those are wonderful shows. Now, this was Minecraft that was like beta, the original beta. We covered Minecraft from almost the beta all the way through, I think, launch. And that's when I just got sick of playing Minecraft, because at that point, because of the popularity of the show and the podcast, our server was just flooded with people, and we kept buying bigger and bigger and bigger servers. And eventually the server we were running, we had, just like thousands upon thousands of people whitelisted. I had a team of like 5 server admins that helped me. I kept the thing running, and then Brad was he was sort of like the architect of it, so he would obviously keep things running as well, but he would like lead people and build things, and he would also decide, what he wanted to do, the direction of it. And as his right-hand man, I would sort of like, whatever he told me to do, we would do. The downside of all this is, eventually, as I was working more and more, it was literally a full-time job. I would come home from work and I would log into the server and I would spend all night cleaning up griefer problems, doing backups, making sure the server was tuned and running, because we had just hundreds of kids that would just log in all day and play on this thing. And it got to me because I was just like, I was working 2 jobs basically. And the Minecraft one I wasn't getting paid for, so eventually I broke Brad's heart, and I told him I was no longer going to do the show, and I was going to step back from the server, because I was just, at that point, I had played like 2 years of Minecraft, and that's it. Like, that's all we played all day was Minecraft. And Minecraft's popularity was just going through the roof at that point. So I stepped away from the show. We stopped doing the audio podcast. I think they're still out on the iTunes store, but I'll have a link below. If you ever want to download any of the audio podcasts, I have them archived on my own server. So you could check out the link below if you want to download any of the old episodes. I really enjoyed doing those old intros. That was long before my desires of being on YouTube. I was an audio podcaster, and I'm kind of proud of the fact that we made it so high on the iTunes store. I could brag about that. But after I left, Brad ended up he converted the podcast into a video podcast called This Week in Minecraft Video, I think. He made a new iTunes feed, I think, and he relaunched it. He went on for another year or two doing video shows, and he would publish them to YouTube as well. A lot of those ended up actually on YouTube. I think you can still find the This Week in Minecraft YouTube channel. And, of course, Brad and I, we kept in touch, but we weren't like in contact all the time, just because I became to that point where I was just so sick of Minecraft. I had heard, and this is the part of the story where I don't know the exacts, so this is sort of speculation. I haven't verified any of this, but I've heard that Brad had some sort of a health issue, and as a result, like, he went dark. Like, he got off the internet for a year or two. It was quite a while. And when he came back, the servers were offline, obviously. The show is defunct, and I think he's still in my friends list for like Steam gaming and such, but we just don't ever play any games together. I think the closest game that we ever played together was actually Farming Simulator, if you could believe that. So, yeah. So that's the story of TWIM. TWIM at its peak was amazing. There was just thousands upon thousands of people watching the show and listening to the show and playing on the server, and it was a freaking roller coaster ride of people. But man, it was a lot of work to keep that running. There was other podcasts that overtook ours very quickly as soon as I stopped doing the audio show. And the Yogscast guys pretty much dominated the YouTube space instantly. So the This Week in Minecraft stuff sort of just plummeted off the popularity. It was still a good channel and a good server. And I think it was just because it was a kid-friendly server. We kept it PG. And as a result, we had all of the kids playing on it. So in this day and age, now there's you could throw a rock and hit a Minecraft server. Back then, there wasn't that many safe PG. Would you stop moving the camera? Sorry, it's the cat. This day, there's just too many Minecraft servers. So, and with the advent of Minecraft Realms, like there was no point in keeping a Minecraft server running. I think I've heard that Brad still has the physical hardware. He actually bought hardware to run the servers on because they got so popular that doing a virtual private hosting was it just wasn't working out. So we actually he purchased legit hardware and had it in a data center running somewhere. So good times. If you see this, Brad, reach out to me, man. Just throw down some farming sim, or we could throw some Minecraft if you really want to play Minecraft. So that's TWIM. If you want to download the old episodes, the link is below. So thank you. Wow. The last episode he posted was the one where I came back as a guest. Damn. Side note though, as I'm sitting here editing this vlog, I do miss you, Brad. Reach out, man.